So today we are talking about if it is a woman's job to make a man happy in the relationship. I'm not talking about inner happiness. I'm not talking about when they say, oh, it's your own job to find happiness within yourself. I'm not talking about that. I want to know what you expect from a woman when you're in a relationship with her. Like, you're expecting her to keep you happy. How? What are you expecting from this woman? Is it our job to keep you happy? And if so, how? Because I want to know.
Yo, what you think about that, though?
That was lovely, but you're not dating yourself. So from the fella's perspective, from the guy's perspective, we want to know, is it our job to only make y'all feel secure, you know? Like, women say, oh, I don't care about the money. Well, no, they don't say that. But they're like, oh, I don't care about his looks. I don't care if his hairline receiving. I don't care if he gained a little weight. But, you know, I want to feel secure. I want to feel, you know, I want to feel those arms around me. So, like, we want to know, like, what other ways, you know?
And then what about us men, too?
What about, how we going to feel secure? But we going to get into that, though.
Listen, I don't know about all that other stuff, about, you know, but what I do know is that, yes, you need to make me feel secure. I'm not just talking about financially, though. When I say I want to feel secure, I'm talking about, you know, are my feelings secure? Are, you know, the things I share with you, are they secure? If I vent to you about my family, if I tell you about my relationship with my mom, if I tell you how I feel because my father is missing in my life, and can you help me with that void? Like, are those things that I can share with you that you can make me feel secure about and help me get through it? I'm not asking you to be my therapist, but at the same time, I think those things are important in a relationship. Yes, you have to make me feel secure, because if not, then I don't need to be with you.
But for me, you have to be excited about life and have joy before you come and meet somebody, right? So I'm not looking for the woman to make me completely ecstatic about waking up to her and seeing her. I'm already confident in loving myself, period. I put a lot of stuff into myself, so when you come into my world, it's a bonus for me to be with you and for you to be with me. Now, if everybody's thinking that that's a one-sided thing, that's what a man's supposed to do, I think that you need both parties to come in and do that to create that love and completion. I always say on this show that people always keep looking at one person has to do this or one gender does that. But when you're really coming together, it's always a partnership. Somebody does well where somebody else doesn't do well. And I think that that's the point of when you come together to have a union, that you want completion. You feel me? So I need to be, you can't just turn around and make me excited about life. Oh, now I didn't feel good before, but because I met you, now I'm totally completed. No, I might like you. We might do great things together, but you're gonna find out sooner or later that I'm not complete and I'm not secure and I don't have joy for myself, and it's still not gonna work in my mind.
And that's important. That's important when two people come together, because if you're in a healthy, happy relationship, you have the man who is happy with himself, the woman who's happy with herself. You come together and add to each other's happiness. And I think that's really important, because you don't want to be, you know, empty and lonely inside and find somebody that makes you happy, and then you're going to keep running back to that person when you don't feel that sense of happiness or security, and then that becomes toxic. Then you get into a narcissistic, toxic type of relationship, and then nobody ends up being happy.
I feel like this is different and dangerous, because in the beginning of a relationship, you're gonna be happy.
It's all well and happy.
I'm gonna meet you. We're gonna go on trips. We're gonna do fun things. You're gonna say yes to everything. You're gonna give me what I want, whatever. We're trying to make each other happy. But when you get to the depth and the core of what really makes someone happy, that's what I'm trying to get to. So when you're with a woman and you guys are past that cupcake phase, and you're no longer, you know, she's no longer just making you happy because you guys have that fun energy of the beginning of a relationship, what is it now that you're expecting from her? What do you need for her to do? Like, I understand you make yourself happy, but what are things that a woman can do to make you happy?
The very thing that you expect a man to do. She needs to make me secure.
And
that's the number one thing. Like, women always say that they need to be secure. Men need to be secure too. They need to know that their woman is doing the correct things by them. They need to know that her heart is really in this relationship. They need to know that this money that's being spent isn't all in vain. We need to feel secure with every step that we're gonna go to now too, because now I know that I like you. Now I know that I love you. Now I know I'm really attracted to you. I really wanna try to do this, but what are you gonna do do to make me feel secure. You can't give me money to make me feel secure. You have to be in my mind. You have to be in my soul. We have to be like minds, willing to share with me. Man, that's the biggest thing that I feel like keeps the men and women apart, that women don't understand, that it's more than sharing this just sex and your vagina. Okay, I'm giving my body to you. I'm sharing with you. That's the bare minimum. We need more than that. And I think O can attest to something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was listening to everything that everybody said, but I want to take away the word job. I want to say it should be someone's desire. It should be someone's want, right? Because same way, you know, you looked at that woman, there was a desire. Same way you looked at that man, there was a desire. So now we're together. So it's not about job, right? I think it's like a seesaw. So we both, or, you know, we're trying to balance on the scale. So that man has to provide security in multitude of ways, and that woman has to reinforce the security in multitudes of ways. So it could be communication, it could be finance. Like if, okay, I see my man struggling with this, you don't belittle him. You know what, babe, I know a little bit about finances, let me show you. Now let me tell you what to do, let me show you. And, you know, and the man to act. So I think that's just, you know, another, you know, element I want to add to it. It should be a desire. And once it's a desire and it's a want, it's naturally, and it flows. You just want to do it.
I feel
because
like
you're choosing each other each time, and communication, of
right.
course.
And I feel like when someone doesn't naturally do that tells you that that person doesn't feel the same way about you. So I've been in situations where I'm with a man where I don't really care what he's going through in his personal life, or, you know, what struggles he's dealing with. Not to sound shallow or anything, but certain situations are for certain things. So I may be with you because you're giving me security financially at that time. So, you know, that's what I need you for, and I'm not really interested in what else you have going on. But you know, a woman cares based off of how she reacts when you tell her you're in a tough situation or you're in a tough space. And based off of her reaction or how she's there for you or what she does to help, that's how you really know when a woman cares for you. If a woman is just, if you say, oh, babe, this is my perspective, I'm not a man, but I'm just saying based off of situations that I've been in. I've had men come to me and say, you know, like, we got to chill on the eating out. And I'm just like, this is about to suck now because I really don't want to hang out with you like that. I really just came for the crab legs, and, you know, like, because I have to get the Stop and Shop brand and you get the good ones when we're together. It's like, you know, so now I'm in a situation where I don't care that much. But if my man comes to me and be like, babe, listen, we gotta chill, you know, we got goals, we trying to get this commercial building or whatever the hell it is that we're trying to do together. Now I'm just like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure he knows that I support him and I support this decision, and I love him so much and I care about him so much that I want to know that his feelings about this situation are safe with me. Like, I'm not gonna go and tell everybody, oh, he broke, I ain't fucking with him no more.
So basically, can I just ask a question? So basically, a man has to find out if she's a rider or not.
Yeah.
So I hope you dudes is paying attention, because she's giving you the key that you might not like it, but you need to put your girl or the person that you like to some type of test to see if she really likes you or not. It's a dirty game out here. I'm not even going cap, because she's not gonna like it. But if she's keeping it real like this, then you know you have to create certain type of things to even find out where this woman's mind is at, if you're even considering being with her long term, because they have the ability to rock with you and not really like you on a long term basis. And that for a man can be scary. But my thing to y'all is, the first thing that we speak about is the security. Y'all speak about joy and all the rest of this type of stuff, right? And then y'all get to the security part. Don't y'all think that most women think about security first and foremost, and their type of security isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about financial security, whether it's status security, because that creates leeway for them too. If they're with a man with status, if they gain some status, what do y'all feel about that?
I'm gonna speak for me. I'm not going to speak for all women, but for me, the first security that I want is emotional security, because I don't want to plan and I don't want to have goals with the guy that I'm with if I am not sure he's going to be emotionally there for me. Because there are times when I didn't have enough money to do things that I wanted to do and, you know, buy him things and make him feel good too. So my thing was, can I trust you with my emotions? Can I trust you with shit that I'm going through in my life before I even say, okay, can I even trust you financially? Because for me, it's like, if you have the emotions in my little pyramid of security, right? I have the emotions, which is the biggest part. Then I have the goals, I have the money, I have the family, right? And that's how I structure it. So if I'm with a guy and he's just like giving me half-ass emotions, like if I tell him like deep things about like trusting my own self, if he doesn't want to listen to me, or if he just like brushes it off, I'm going to say, okay, well, he doesn't want me long term, and I'm going to click off, and I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to find somebody else who actually cares about my emotions.
You gonna click off that fast?
Wait, I want to say something.
I mean, it's not like a one time.
I'm not gonna stop you, but y'all women, when y'all get clicked on, they cold with it. Go ahead, Joe.
It's been money for me. It's been financial first. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna put up no fake facade. It's been the bread first.
But why you think
me.
that? But
Like,
why?
I think
Because I don't expect men to instantly be emotionally attached to me or emotionally
you already
ready.
go in with preconceived notions. You're already shooting yourself in the foot, because if the
that's how
way
it
you can
is.
have the idea of bag first, why can't you have bag and emotions tied
Because
together?
I don't know. First of all, I have to take time to get to that point, and men are not
You
always
gotta
the
take time to
easiest-
get to this bag too,
No,
to
you
my
gotta.
pockets.
Men are not the easiest people to. Okay, we're gonna sit down at dinner, and now I'm gonna ask you, what are your long time goals? What
gotta
are
change that
there are
narrative.
women that are like that, but I know most of the times, when I'm entering a situation with a man, I'm not gonna bore him with those things, because a lot of times that's not
So
what the
you're
fuck you
not
want to talk
securing
about.
yourself. You're
But
actually
can I
not
ask
That's
you
not
a
what it
question?
is.
Can I ask y'all
That's
a
not
real
what it is.
question?
I'm
Not
that
securing
woman though.
yourself.
Like
Let me
first,
ask y'all.
first, second date, I'm that woman. I would be like, okay, well, these are my long-term goals. If you're not gonna stay here and try to build it with me,
Second date?
I'm gonna listen. I'm that girl, because like I don't have time to waste. You know, I don't have time
I
to
just
waste.
swipe right. Don't make me swipe left. Slow down.
Yo,
That's
just
what
right.
I'm saying.
Nobody-
Wait, time out. But
that's
Kamali, let me
okay,
ask you a
though.
question. No, because you just brought up this. So we're talking about security and all that, right? And you're gonna tell me realistically, on our second date, you're gonna run down all of those things.
Not
for
all of
me?
it. I'll give you like a
Told
little.
you.
I'm gonna give you a little
It's
bit.
a two-part question. And has that worked for you?
It's worked. It has worked. It
Are
worked.
you in a relationship now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, shut me.
It's worked. So far. But that's me, because I don't have time to waste. Also, if I know I can make my own money, and I don't, not that I don't need a man, because that's a different subject. I need
a man.
I need him for something
You
different
need a man,
than money.
trust me.
I need him something something different than money, because I can make my own money, and
Okay.
I'm confident in that. So that's why I say I want someone who's going to be there emotionally for me. So yes, I bring it up second, maybe third date. Okay, third date. But I bring in some of my goals, so he knows, okay, I'm not lazy. I have things going on. I have different sources of income
So
that
you
I'm
think
looking
that
at.
makes him secure
Thank you.
when dating with you?
I don't know if it makes him secure, but I want him to know, listen, I am secure in myself and what I can do and what I can bring to this relationship and bring to the table. If he doesn't meet me there, then I'm for somebody else, or he's for someone else.
So wait, let me.
Go ahead. You go first. Because I'm first.
As I'm listening, you know what? All right, I get it. Everybody goal, MO in a relationship is different. It seemed like y'all bag driven. Cool. It's nothing wrong. Listen, but there's many layers to a relationship, and that's what me and Esso was saying. Like, bag is cool, but you're not listening. You just told your list, right?
Yeah.
How about instead of telling a man, how don't we have a conversation? Let's ask each other, right? Here's what I bring. What do you bring? No, we're on a date, or I'm trying to holler at you. I'm trying to get to know you. I get that you have bag on your mind. I get it. But if you want it to be more, if you want it to be more, I get it. But if you want it to be more, how about you at least pretend, let me keep the bag quiet. Let me get to know this human being, because he could have the bag, but is his mindset good enough to be with you? Is his mindset good to raise kids? If his mindset good enough to be married? Because then you're going to say, damn, he got all this money, but then I'm going to go cheat with emotional Oliver. Oh, now you want emotion. You got, no, think about it. Esso got the bag. You got Mr. Bags. But then later on, Esso was like, he's not as affectionate. He's not as loving. If you would have asked these questions along with your bag questions, you would have seen that, you know what? That's
Can I
so not
say
for
one
me.
more thing?
Go ahead.
This is not my feelings.
You just
No. I'm about to say what I'm saying is not my feelings.
Oh, okay.
Hold up. Wait a
All
minute.
right.
It's a chopper. Okay. So there are some women who are in relationships with men. There is no emotional connection,
Yeah, they
right?
come to me.
But she is just well taken
Just start
care of and
charging
she
them.
don't give a damn. That's just the fact.
they
There are
also-
situations. I'm not saying that's me.
They don't care
but
if he has sex or anything.
don't care. Don't
got
give a
the
damn
bag.
because that's what they require.
Yeah.
Some women require that security and that's
fact.
just it. They want to make sure, look, I don't care as long as I can live in a nice lavish place. I can go shopping. My baby got the new Louis cart to go with the carriage and I can stunt on my friends and we could go on trips. There are some women that don't give a damn about what their man feel. Those women keep those men happy by not doing too much, not asking a
Yeah.
lot of questions, I'm right?
They let them do
What they
want
wanna
to
do.
That goes to stuff that we talked about before when I said that there are women out there that willingly and know that their man is doing things and they don't say nothing because they're comfortable. And that's cool if that's what they want to go by, if that's what works for that dude. But what I wanted to get back to right here was, if y'all know, we done said, both men here and said that the first thing that the man wants is security, first and foremost. Everything that y'all said was not about security. Kamalini, no disrespect, because you're good, I'm not gonna cap. But you said, I'm running down to him, my goals, my this, my that. And the number one thing that I always say to my wife, and this is real, is I say, women have a tendency to think about themselves and then their kids, and then the man. The man thinks about us. He has to. Because we look at the woman that if my wife is not secure and she's out there raggedy, I'm raggedy. Okay? If she got money and she's rolling and I'm not and I'm looking a little raggedy, you know what they're gonna say to me? Yo, your man need to get a job. Period. So that's how we looking for the security. Like we need that from y'all first and foremost in order for us to go to the next level. And what's real is I never even thought about that until we got on the show. It's just something that I went about with feeling. When you're secure with a woman, you'll do anything for them. It's
natural.
They
Like
could
I said,
have
the
a they
desire
could have
is
a
there.
whole nother boyfriend and everything, and you be like, I'm cool with her. I feel like she's straight with me, and you'll be like, I will help you out, do whatever you're trying to do. But security with us, if you pay attention, is first and foremost in my mind. Three things that would make me feel secure.
I asked you that.
I won. The first thing is if she's financially stable, then that would make me feel secure with what I'm spending, with what she's spending. I'm totally cool with that. How she makes me feel, the vibe that I get around her. I'm a big vibey person. I take time. I really, even if I'm with you for a day, you don't know I'm looking at you, but I'm studying everything that you do. So I'm big on the vibe that you bring me back. And if we could talk. Because women that don't talk normally, they got a lot of stuff to hide. So you already know if I'm talking to her, I really don't want to touch on that. I really want to go there. Why are we talking about that? Once we talk, because I'm open, I'm free. So if you want to know something from me, if I could talk to you, then yes, I definitely would start to feel secure with you. That would be getting us the first base for me to say I can now move on and explore things with you.
But I think it's sort of the same with women too, because we look for the same type of security and safety. So it's just how we interpret it, because we're a little bit more emotional. Women tend to be a little bit more emotional, but it's the same.
do that.
But it's general though.
I'm gonna go after you.
I'll say my piece. Like, I am that emotional woman.
But you see how you changed it, right? We using the word security, but we realize we shifting it. And you just use the word emotional, you shifting like, well, men or women are more than men. Men have emotions too.
But it's a different type of emotion.
All right, but
it's just like
it comes off like yours is a little hierarchy. That's what I'm just saying.
I would agree. I would agree.
But you're not saying it, because you just said women are more emotional. Guys, like, no. And I'm not gonna tell you what to say, but what I'm just saying is that I'm challenging what you're saying. That, yes, back in barbaric times, men eat, sleep, work.
Right.
I get it. But now it is changing. We're like, nah, I don't like that. no, I don't like what you did in the bed today. You gotta talk to me, not talk at me. You're not my mom. That's a man telling you, like,
What
yo,
it is.
I'm showing my emotion. Like, I'm showing it. He's not gonna say, dang, this is emotion time. Like,
Right.
no, he is speaking and saying, I am hurt, I am bothered. Or sometimes what he's not saying too is showing emotion. So what I'm saying is that, like Esso said, like, you know, I want a woman that's gonna pay attention to me. You know, like, just like how women are speaking up more, us men, there are men now, there are batches of men that's like, yo, this is how I feel. They may not sound like me, cool, but they're showing it.
But I
and
love
we need
that.
you to
But
catch that.
that's why
We need you to catch
communication
it.
is so important
It's
because
important.
there are some men out there who just don't communicate, and now
But that's them still communicating.
So
not communicate. Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Not communicating is
Yeah,
communicating.
because we're
it is.
different. That's why we're here to be like, yo, this is how
This
I
guy is.
communicate.
And this is how
If
I
you pissing
communicate.
me off,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying the word, I'm communicating like a motherfucker because pardon me, I'm communicating because I'm always talking to you. That's
Yeah.
why he gave you the prerequisite. I want somebody, or if I can speak to you and we can have a conversation and talk about things candidly, then I'm more inclined to be closer to you. If you're not doing that type of thing, then I'm more inclined to shut myself down too. And if you know that that's what I want, I am definitely communicating with you loud and clear.
I can hear that.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of times the way it's interpreted by women is if he's not saying anything, I'm gonna try to get
see
it
that.
out.
Yes, I can see that. I can see
That
that's
becomes,
true.
that becomes
That's
a
true.
problem. That
Is that
becomes
an
a
issue?
problem.
Is
I
that
hate
an
that.
issue?
Because you don't have to try. You don't have to try to get it out. You know what the problem is. So you trying to get me to talk about it already, but you know I don't want to talk
All
about
right,
it.
let me ask a question. Like, okay, say that happens, right? You don't say anything. That's your form of communicating because you're not happy with it. Do you think that, like, general men, do you think women are oblivious to that type of behavior? Because some of us just say, no, I want to figure out. I want him to tell me.
They're not oblivious because they just nosy and they want to know. And she knows right then and there. And she knows right then and there. All she got to do is take him home. Like, yo, listen, let's put this down and let's go home and let's have sex. I'm sorry.
Gonna say,
Okay, well, I
That's
don't
what it
know.
always
Sometimes
ends up being.
If your
Let's start with
ass
that.
gonna walk around with an attitude on my goddamn time, I'm gonna let you walk around with that attitude. When you ready to
Now if
talk,
you
come
like
holler
me.
at me, because I'm not playing those games.
Now
We
if you,
grown as hell.
now if you like me.
Grown as hell.
Jada, see,
Say
yo,
what the hell I
now
did.
go, Jada. We're not talking about one of the dudes.
did I do?
We're not talking about the dude that you don't really like.
No, I'm talking about my man. He
No,
does
no.
that to this day. I'd be like, what did I do?
I'm not gonna say it on
Don't
camera
walk
because
around.
we're friends now, so I'm not gonna say it on camera. But she knows what I would
I
have
know what he's
said.
talking about.
After she said that, I would have said, Jada, you know why? Because you don't like him. And then she would have argued with me. But I would have said, yo, you don't like him because if
You're right.
if your dude walking around with a tube and you know why he's walking around with a tube, you are going to fix that,
You're
especially
right.
the personality
Okay, you're right.
of what you're saying. She's
You're
gonna
right.
fix it.
That's
If
good.
any change in behavior, I say, hey, what's going on? Did I do something?
But do you know what you had done
I don't know,
already?
but
I know
that's
what
the
I
thing.
All the
did.
time.
I know what I did.
Carmelini,
I don't know what I did. I don't know.
Carmelini, you never know what you did.
I mean, sometimes
Come
I
on,
know.
stop it.
Sometimes I know.
Comma capping. Stop it.
You know what you
Sometimes
did.
I know.
Stop
Sometimes I
it.
know. Sometimes I genuinely don't know. But other times I do, and I'm like, you know
Even
what?
nice women know the BS they do. Stop. Because they're not
happens,
nice
it
all the
happens.
time. They're not innocent. They're not like, well, let's talk to me. Let me know what you want to know, what you need to do, and all that. No, they got Southside in them too, the Bronx in them too, and it comes out when they don't like something. You see, she just put the middle finger up. She was just talking all night, and she see, it comes out.
Yeah, I ain't
That
even
is
gonna hold
crazy.
you. I know what the hell I did. Now you gonna
I'm a-
be in my
I'm a-
place
Now
or
we're gonna
what?
talk about
I want to go. I'm gonna share this right. Y'all guys tell me. This might be poetic. But I'm gonna go a little interesting with my perspective because I was listening and Esso talked about before getting a relationship. This person needs to be kind of complete enough or happy with themselves, right? So we've all been in relationships, right? And let's say you've been in one for 3 years, and I've had a little longer. Let's say 6 years. And you trying, and it's just not working. And it comes to a point where the relationship plateaus. And I want to add to what Esso was saying is that I'm going to learn from this relationship that didn't work, And that's how I'm gonna provide security to the next relationship. Because what we tend to do is like, yo, I want it to work. And I get it, you may have kids, you may have businesses together, you put in time. But some things reach its, end, right? It has a glass ceiling. And what you can do for the next relationship is just learning from this, and then you can be that version of what Esso's saying, being happy. But if you just, I'm gonna stay with you 10, 20, 30 years, and we argue and we're just not happy and we only staying together for history, it is history. It's gonna be history. So I think that's another way we can provide security for our next self and next relationship.
But is that an issue with security? Because I was in a relationship with my baby moms for 11 and a half years, and you just draw something up with me. And I knew I should have left and all that. But I honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I just really felt secure knowing that she was, I got my own work. I do my own thing. I never worked for nobody, but she worked within the school system. You know what I'm saying? Like she wasn't living nowhere near the life that I was living. I was wilding, popping ecstasy, weed, partying hard, doing all types of stuff. So I think maybe I stayed with her that long knowing it was wrong because it was just a secure place, but I was not happy. I did not wake up excited.
Security,
I was waking up feeling like I'm glad that my daughter is in this house, and my biggest joy was kissing her before she went to school every day.
So we all do that.
But is that
We find a
security
clean
or
spot in a mess.
complacency, though?
Yeah, it is that.
It's
Yeah.
complacency because it's like
False sense.
you know
So that's not security, that's
it's complacency.
complacency. Gotcha.
But it can be masked
That's a
as
waste.
It could be yeah.
Anybody
I think
who's
it could be
doing that,
masked.
I'm sorry, but that is not the way. Like,
I didn't know.
I know, I
Yeah.
get it, but
That's the
one
thing.
thing we don't get back in this life is time. And that is something that I refuse to do. If I am not getting what I need out of a relationship, I'm going to start working on my exit out. I don't care what you say to me. I don't care. Even if I make you feel like we good or, because you keep telling me like, oh, don't leave. I'm in my mind, if you're not making me happy, I'm working on my exit out, because what I'm not going to do is sit around with someone and waste time being miserable when you know how happy you can be.
So you saying that in the situation that you was in, security wasn't the most important
You
thing
caught
now.
me. You caught me
Now,
red-handed.
okay, so when you first spoke about it, you said that security and money was the most
I did
important
not
thing.
even say that. I was just
Now,
saying.
now,
I got you, Jada.
now,
That was just one thing that I said to go with something else that I said. But yeah, when you on your first date, it was security.
happiness now, you think now after we explored it, you
Yes.
saying that now that's the most important thing.
That is.
And to me, within this show, I think how I realized stuff from 10, 12 years ago just now. Like we used to take those type of things and say, oh, well, you're wrong about that. But sometimes you have to talk your stuff out to really understand where you're really coming from, because we don't have time to speak about, well, what makes you tick or what doesn't make you tick. So because she really thought that money was the most important thing, and once she explored it and we talked about it, it's definitely not the most
This was
important
very
thing.
therapeutic.
Yeah, but doesn't that go back
Us
to my
fellas
needs,
want to say
though?
you're welcome.
No, because I said in my hierarchy of needs, emotions, which happiness goes under emotions,
Okay.
that's my biggest thing. I need to know that we're emotionally clicking. I'm vibing with you emotionally. That's important for me because I already know without him, I could make my own money. That's what I bring to the table. The fact that I have means of making money and I don't need him for his money. What he brings, he adds to it. And then we build a happy future.
Now I'm realizing the security is like, I feel better if I'm happy within. You're right. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes the money is not enough. Sometimes,
Can you say that part again?
I took an L.
She said sometimes money is not enough.
Sometimes the money is not enough, and I understand that. But for women who are in a situation where when they're with someone who the security is their money, it's harder for them to leave that situation because now they have to pick up and start all over, and now they have to change their lifestyle, and now they have to probably bring their children with them, and now they have to live a certain way, and they're willing to put up with being miserable or dealing with someone who doesn't give them everything they need because they're afraid.
Well, all they have
That's a
to
good
do
point.
is put themselves to work. If you know that you're trying to leave somebody and he's the person that he's paying the bills, then you need to figure out, is there a business you can open?
Right.
Is there some type of work that you can do? Because staying there with somebody who you really don't like or you don't care about, you're wasting away. You're wasting your entire life. Then being lazy, that's called
lazy.
being lazy. Don't be lazy and be caught up with somebody that you don't like, because his life is trash and your life is now trash too. And if you have kids, their life becomes trash as well. And you don't want to do that.
You'd really be surprised what you can do once you get out of a situation. You'd be surprised how much clearer you'll think. You'll be surprised how when your back is up against the wall,
You make bad decisions.
when your back is really against the wall, though, also you start making decisions about, okay, how am I going to come out of this? That's when that grind really kicks in. And that's when you start finding things within yourself where you're like, okay, well, if I'm going to get out of this situation, let me just start working here. Or let me just start doing this. Or let me, that talent that I used to have, let me kick it up. Let me turn.
Do they ever think about more communication? If I'm really not excited, like everybody knows that's married to have long-term relationships, sometimes you could feel like you do plateau, right? And it has happened. And when you plateau, you start looking other ways and stuff like that. But how you get past that is you have to come back down and you have to be back to secure with the person who you was with from the beginning. And you should be able somehow to build up the communication back to at least talk about if we're gonna work on this or if we're gonna just part ways.
Can I say something on that? I feel like excitement is very important in a relationship, right?
Very.
And once you get to a point where you know the ins and out of a person and you know their routine and you know how they brush their teeth and how you just know what to expect.
It's boring.
It's boring.
You start
so
taking them for
you
granted.
start wanting more.
But you
And
know what?
sometimes
But y'all know what y'all call that? But y'all know what y'all call that?
What?
This is what my wife calls me. He's a lot to deal with. And people say, yo, how do you deal with him?
Right.
He's a lot to deal with. So evidently the lot to deal with dudes is the one that they want to be with, because you're never going to have a dull moment. You're never going to know what's going on.
But the thing is that not everyone's like that. There's some women and there's some men who they reach that plateau and they're happy there because they know what to expect. They know what's going to happen the next week, the next month, because it's the same routine.
Are you like that?
I am not like that, and I'm not happy.
You're not a
like
plateauer?
I've plateaued. I have plateaued, and I caught myself, and I said, I'm not happy, because what happened? I started gaining weight. I didn't feel good about myself, and I said, this is not who I am. This is not how I want to be. And I caught up with it, and I said, no, I need more for myself.
Did you talk to him about it, or did you just redirect and move on?
I redirected myself, and I told him, I said, I am not happy with myself. It has nothing to do with you. It's just I am not happy. I know I could be better. I know I can do more. And I started doing it, and he was supportive. He said, look, we've gotten to a phase where it's just like we know each other,
Y'all were
right?
a tremendous couple if y'all talked like that. And
Wow.
it was just like, they were dope. Why did y'all ever even separate? Like, oh, you plateaued with me, I plateaued too, I
plateaued
understand.
too.
Move on, everybody, it's
sounds
okay.
poetic. No, it had its
poetic
dull-
justice.
It's poetic, but it took work, but it had its ups and downs. But
But you were secure with him?
I was secure.
And he was secure with you, right?
He was secure.
All right, cool. That's all I wanted to know.
He was secure, but then it got to a point where we just started doing our own thing
Yeah.
so much.
I can agree with that.
We sort of forgot about each other. And that's where it got really problematic, because when you get so caught up in doing your own thing, with having that mindset of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to finish school, blah, 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 get my own money, you forget about the relationship
You
that you
forget
have.
about the us and you start thinking about the you.
Exactly, and that's what happened. So
I'm not
you
gonna
know,
lie, I experienced that
Yeah.
when I was in college. I was with someone that I absolutely loved. They were my best friend. Everything was just amazing. I was in a point in my life where I could not imagine myself
Without
being with anybody else.
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna have his kids. I knew his family in and out. He knew my family in and out. My family loved him. That was a household name for me. Nobody could get over my ex from college. Nobody. And we were good communicators. Like, we literally were great for each other, like literally how best friends are. But there came to a point where no matter what, our communication, no matter how real we were with each other, we just decided that, like, yes, the communication is great for us, but we still wanted different things. And we just let our lives just separate. Once we got space from each other, we allowed that space to just become, to grow. And then after that, it was just like, even we grew in different directions. And I was secure with that person. I felt like he provided me everything I needed.
So the
emotionally.
security it trickled all the way down.
It was all of the other. We were in college together, so I didn't really think about monetary. Like, I didn't really think about the
in
money
college,
part.
it didn't matter in college.
It didn't matter in college.
I like you, you like me. We're gonna figure it out. Whatever.
Is that what I was saying earlier? Oh.
Get out of here.
You notice I just sat quiet and everything I said is just coming back.
Yeah, but we're learning at the same
You're a prophet.
time.
You're a prophet.
I decided to say nothing. I had to say nothing.
That's right.
I'm confused now.
That's the point. That's the point.
Confused because happiness is enough sometimes and happiness is not enough. I think there is a point where growth
Happiness
is
is
important.
never enough.
It's growing. It's growing. It's constantly meeting
See,
new
but that's the
points.
problem because with me, once I meet you, you good in that pocket. I don't need us to be doing all of this extra growing to do what? Once we decide to be together, we have talked already. We have done this. We're not talking about when we're meeting together. We're talking about when we're together.
Relationship.
Not the third date when we're talking. We are actively in a relationship right now.
I think that, well, really one more thing. I think that you have to have plans together that eventually pan out correctly. Because when Alan was just talking to us, I had a moment where I flashed back to being with that person that I told you guys that I once loved. And I remember us laughing and cracking the fuck up because we didn't have enough money to go get a KFC box. And we was looking around for change and we were so freaking happy in that moment. We were so happy. And then shit starts to happen as you go further in the relationship. And now it's like, okay, we have to get to this point together and we have to both meet each other here at this point. And you start finding yourself in new situations and you have to figure it out together. So yes, you can be happy, but at the same time, you have to be able to grow and you have to be able to provide certain things for each other. So in conclusion, you need all that shit.
You need a healthy balance with
You need a
growth.
balance.
Feelings
growth
are unexplainable anyway.
Yeah,
Right, but with
that's true.
growth comes responsibility, though, because I like what you said. You cracked up because you were looking for change to go buy KFC, but factor in a child in that mix. You have to take care of this child. You have to have money coming in,
Which can bring
to
stress.
be able, and it adds on a lot of stress. Exactly. So with every day you grow, there's additional responsibility. The choices that you make, it increases the responsibility or decreases it. Now it's your choice at that point. Do you want to stay with someone who doesn't have
The ability to grow.
Exactly, who can't forecast what's going to happen next month, far less the next year? Or do you want to change direction and repivot yourself to someone who could?
So that goes back to people.
I don't feel like no one can make you happy. You
But that
have
goes
to
back
be
to
happy.
Nacho real quick.
Within
You have to
yourself.
be. You have to be. The number one thing is because even if you're broke. Okay, like y'all always mention, even if you're broke and you meet somebody that has money, right? Your initial thing is euphoria. I'm buying things that I never could buy. But after you're done buying them, you don't like the person.
Yeah.
Or you might think that they're cool, and they might be nice to be around, but this isn't what I
But
thought
that's
it was
I think
going
people
to
choose
be.
that because that is the thing that solves a lot of problems, though.
No,
so I
that-
think
that
some
we
women are
think-
sitting in that situation because they think, all right,
Jay, we
this
think-
is providing me with a lot of shit that in my regular life, or if I didn't have this person, I would be at home stressing about. And yes,
That's
me and this
joy.
person don't communicate properly, but I can go and find peace at the lake because, in my Rolls Royce.
So that's
And
joy?
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is just in general from a different perspective.
It's comfort.
It's comfort. It's comforting. Whereas if you're broken, you're looking at your child and you can't provide them with things, and you also don't have a relationship great with their father. Now you're finding so many other issues where maybe just if I at least had some money, I would be feeling a little bit better in my situation.
so-
I feel you, but we always get money, and then when we get it, it's never enough. Go ahead. Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
agree with that too.
I just,
Sorry,
to just, put it all in perspective. Like while you are keeping someone, make sure you're not losing yourself, right? Because that's the thing. You can't have your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what happens with a lot of times where like you reach this, like, so Jada just said, I found comfort and my KFC, right? And that was enough. Or at the moment, then you grew. Or this man isn't doing enough, but he just holds the baby. I think we need to stop, men and women need to stop looking at that one thing and try to put a blanket on everything. Like, no, yes, he's holding the child, cool, but we are still broke. We are still struggling. Put the child down
And go
pick
find
up
a
a
job.
laptop, look for a job. But also you gotta know how to communicate that too. You don't go
The
for
right
ego.
way.
But you
Right.
can't.
The right way.
But you can't belittle him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And vice versa, the man can't, say,
can't belittle
you can't
him.
look as good anymore.
You can't
After the
belittle
baby,
nobody.
nobody.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
Exactly.
No, that's it. No, I don't mind we having a conversation, but I just wanted to add that we're like, we just have to just be mindful of not losing ourselves and not, finding a clean spot in the mess and like living in this delusion of grandeur. Like, yo, this is reality. Yes, he's holding his child. Cool. Yes, she's breastfeeding. That's naturally what's supposed to be done.
Exactly.
And
That's
there's
the
other
bare
things that
minimum.
we've all been saying as we turn to audience, that it's multifaceted. We have to do all these things. I don't want to put blame on man and women anymore. I think we need to shift that to like, we need to be human
Us.
beings and be responsible.
Yes.
And talk about those things together. So in conclusion, wow, I learned a lot about myself and I can see multiple different perspectives, and I feel as if to be someone's happiness, I don't think it's possible. It's very overwhelming when you hear how to keep someone happy or how to be someone's security. I personally feel as if I can't be someone's happiness if I don't understand who they are, what they want, or where they want to be in the future. I feel like if I don't communicate properly with my significant other, that it'll be a failed relationship, because to make you happy, I have to understand you. And for a man to be my security, he has to understand me as well. And I feel like finances are not just enough for security. I feel like you have to make me happy and we have to see eye to eye. Otherwise, I'm not secure. My emotions are not secure. My well-being, my dreams, my goals. How do you feel about them? Will you support them? Will you be there for me when times get hard? So I personally feel like there's so much more that is involved when it comes to being my security and me being your security and us making each other happy. So, with that being said, what did you get out of this, SO, and how do you feel?
Well, I actually got a lot of insight from y'all about how y'all really feel about things. I'm still gonna stand on that. For me, for a man, being secure with your woman is the first and foremost thing. That's our first step in order to crack the layer back, in order for us to move on and get closer to you. Then the communication is key. And I know that we know all of this stuff, and I just feel like sometimes the emphasis on money, which I always know is definitely needed. I understand that. But when people emphasize it so much, it kind of puts a blinder on any type of true situation, knowing what you can or can't do with a person, knowing what they will and won't do with a person. And that expectation of money kind of taints everything before you even get started. I implore people to look for love first. I implore people to look for security if you're a man. To me, those are the first two things that you need to see. You know how you feel when you meet a person. You don't know how they feel, but you know how you feel. And that's the same feeling you want them to have about you. If that's not the case, 9 times out of 10, it's just not gonna work. So if you really want a relationship and you really want to move forward, you need to take all these things into account. Don't think about I. Think about we.
Well, way to steal the show.
How do you feel? How do you feel about that,
That was
Carmelina?
nice.
I actually love what you said, because I'm saying I came into this with women's emotions to a certain height, and then men's emotions as not really equating. Just because you don't show it doesn't mean you don't feel it. So what I took away is we have the same emotions. We express it slightly differently. And I love that what you said, if you're not showing something or saying something, that's communication. And I think my approach would definitely change. And it's eye-opening for me because I would be the type to try to dig it out and figure out what's going on. And sometimes, you know, the guy just needs space and he just wants to chill for a little bit and then approach it. And I think that's something I can definitely take away. When it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, you have to vibe with that person. You have to know that you love them. Open up the door, communicate with them, and let them know how you feel. It's okay to be vulnerable, but it's also okay to know that in your vulnerability, you're secure in yourself.
No doubt.
What do you think?
How can I follow that up? So after hearing everyone on the set, and just to button it up, we talked about security in a relationship. Is that enough between men and women? Nope, it's a human responsibility. We talked about love. Who should love who? Who should communicate more? It's not a gender, it's a human thing. It should be a desire, it should be a natural want. And with that being said, thank you for watching tonight's episode on A to the Table. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Keep the comments going. Thank you for the support. This is season 4 of A to the Table. Thank you.